Hello, and welcome to Discovery Corner. I'm Claire Melvin. Pop the kettle on, pour yourself a glass of wine, maybe even put your trainers on or run a bath, and join me for another journey of discovery. So it's December, and as we record this, we're a few short weeks away from my favourite time of the year, which is Christmas. My guest this month is April J. Harris, a writer, lifestyle blogger of 23 years, motivational speaker, and avid traveller. So, welcome to Discovery Corner, April. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you so much, Claire. I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. And could you please tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a writer and a lifestyle blogger, as you said. I've been blogging for over 23 years. I specialize in delicious, easy recipes, ideas that help people make the most of their homes, travel stories and tips, inspiration to help people embrace their own unique style, and just things to basically help you make the most of life at home and away.
That all sounds amazing. And I think so. Before I became a coach, which was last year, I had a business and I was a home baker. And I think, for want of a better phrase, I probably stumbled across you. Probably was about 20 years ago now, actually. So it's a real thrill to finally sort of meet you in person and to have you on my podcast talking about Christmas.
I
So,
can't tell you how happy that makes me. Oh my goodness. I mean, I love new followers, but the ones who've been around for ages, that really just that makes me so
oh,
happy. Thank you, Claire.
you're very welcome. So sort of not necessarily a controversial question, but can we start with your thoughts on when Christmas decorations go up and when is it ever too early?
I'm not sure. I think it's entirely up to the person. I think it's very much a case of doing what makes you happy.
Hmm.
I find that it varies year on year. This year, I've noticed that a little bit of Christmas is sneaking in quite early for me.
Mm,
I used to be kind of a first part of December person, but I think you should do whatever makes you happy. If that's middle of October, that's great. If that's just the night before Christmas. That's
mhm.
absolutely fine as well. I think with the darker nights, it's quite nice to get some of the lights out. It makes
Yeah.
me quite happy to come home and see the lights.
No, I absolutely agree as well. And yeah, I think my Christmas has started to sneak in a little bit early this year as well. And I think, like you say, sometimes if things are a bit tough, it's kind of nice to see something that's just like bright and cheery and just kind of almost just makes you smile, puts you in a nicer mood. Um, and are there any traditions that you have or that you love to do and would like to share with us?
I think one of my favorite traditions is that I have a tree topper that my father bought for me when I was two, I think. And while I don't remember the first year it was used, it's always been a part of my
Hmm.
Christmas. And my son used to put it on the tree when he was little. And I'll often wait, even though he's in his 30s now, I'll often wait for him to come back to put the angel on the tree. Occasionally I get impatient and I put her up there myself. But I love the idea of having just something that is a constant year on
Yeah.
year, or having special ornaments, things like that.
Mm, that sounds amazing. Um, I treat myself to new decoration every year. That's a little bit of fun for me. And for me, Christmas isn't Christmas without the Nutcracker. So if I can see it, great. If not, I'll just have it on in the background, and it kind of feels like it's Christmas. Um, Also, bizarrely, a Marks and Spencer's trifle. So you can't go wrong without one of those.
You definitely cannot go wrong with one of those.
And some of the kids programs on TV, I actually think they're better than the adult ones sometimes. So they're definitely
I
on.
love some of the Christmas specials and some of the very, very old ones from when I was a kid. I love
Mm.
to watch. I think it was Rudolph was on last year, and I was like, oh, this is lovely.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think the Christmas programs for kids are amazing.
yeah, no, absolutely. And is there anything that you enjoyed doing in December?
I think December for me is all about making the most of the cozy season. It's
Hmm.
darker, it's cooler outside. So really just hunkering up at home or going out and doing fun things outside, all
Yeah.
bundled up, getting together with friends, kind of extending yourself so that you're
Mm.
kind of a part of a greater whole, because it's very easy to just kind of shut yourself off when it's cold outside. And I
Yeah.
think just getting out there, really enjoying the sunshine when it's there,
Mm.
and also starting to prepare a little bit, just in a comfortable, not a frenzied way, just in a kind
Mm.
of doing things that I'll do a little bit of baking that I can freeze, and
Mm.
just starts to get me feeling quite up after the the clocks have gone back and it's
Yeah.
started to get dark earlier. It gives me a bit of a
Mm.
lift.
Yeah. And I find as well when I sort of start going shopping, like food shopping. from about November, I'll just start just adding little bits in every week because it kind of spreads the cost a little bit as well. And it's also something that you know you've got to look forward to.
It's such a good idea because I
Yeah.
think most of the things that we would be buying have a shelf life that's perfectly fine for
Mm.
that. And it is a good idea to spread the cost. And also, if you see something in terms of, if you're talking about groceries, like in terms of food that somebody might like as a gift, it's great
Mm.
to just get it and know you have it, or
Yeah.
have it as a backup just in case someone comes in and gives you a present and you don't have anything.
I think we've all done that before. And even like sometimes if you see something in the supermarket and you know it's on sale or whatever, and then you can get it and just pop it in the freezer and that you know that you've got that and that little bit is taken care of as well. So just sort of things that
Absolutely,
take
because
your
I think
pressure off.
I agree. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Yeah.
But it's true because I think, especially if you leave things too close to the end, there's a tendency to get a little bit frenzied.
Mm,
And then we end up spending more money than we'd like to on more things than we need.
mm.
Whereas if you're doing it slowly, over a period of weeks, it's such a good idea.
Although there is a tendency, I bought a bottle of port in the beginning of October for Christmas and I drank it already. So sometimes that does happen.
That's okay. That's all right. There's more port in the store.
There is. Um, and do you have like a favorite recipe that you like to make or anything you particularly enjoy baking?
I have so many favorite recipes. If we're talking about early in December, it's the ones that I can make ahead and freeze, like
Mm.
my Christmas cherry cookies, which are slice and bake, which are
Wow.
great to have on hand because you can just pull out exactly as many as you need
Mm.
and just bake. You can bake 6 cookies if you want to.
Mm.
I also love to start getting ahead with, I mean, it's a really good time to be making your Christmas cake,
Hmm.
because Christmas cakes do benefit from having that sort of feeding with a bit
Yeah.
of brandy and that sort of thing. So great time to make your Christmas cake.
Mm.
Also, your Christmas pudding.
Hmm.
And Christmas pudding for me, both the Christmas cake and the Christmas pudding that I have on the website are so much a part of our family. They're recipes from my husband's grandmother.
Wow.
And what has been such a thrill for me over the years is that people will write in and say to me, "Oh gosh, we make this every year now," or "This is
Mm.
our special pudding." We even had last year someone wrote in and said that their father always made the Christmas pudding from my recipe, or
Oh.
from my nana's recipe, and he had passed away and they had a pudding left and they'd frozen it, and how could they reheat it? So
Mm.
I love that it becomes part of the traditions, but those are the recipes I really get started on. But
Mm.
then as it gets closer to Christmas, it's all the tray bakes and other cookies, and
Mm.
that also that I love the cutout cookies that I can decorate or sprinkle with sprinkles.
Mm. There's a great recipe. Must have been from I think about 2009, which it's a Dan Leopard recipe. He does a Dundee cake, which is
Oh,
so good, so good. Um, so I make that, and I'm wheat intolerant, so I have to be a little bit careful about what I make, which is why I tend to make my own because then at least you know what's in it and things. But yeah, very much recommend that. So when it sort of comes to Christmas week, how do you spend that?
so Christmas week has evolved over the years for
Mm,
us because now our son's grown up and living with his partner Hannah. We often go to them for Christmas,
mm,
and so Christmas week I'll be starting to get things ready here. I'll be baking to take things.
yeah.
I'm very much sous chef when I go to their house, so it's great actually. Um, but I do tend to bring some of the desserts with me, which
Mm,
is really nice. So I'll be doing that. I'll be getting that ready. I'll be getting presents ready, getting them wrapped. I
mm,
love wrapping presents. I love having the lovely bows and things. I have to keep it simple because I'm not
mm.
terribly good at all of this, but I derive tremendous pleasure from
Yeah,
wrapping things up and tying them with beautiful ribbons. And so there's a lot of present wrapping, a lot of baking. The decorating's all done by then, but
yeah.
and also just getting together with friends just for casual get-togethers,
Mm, mm,
whether that's like a drinks and nibbles party, or maybe have people around for dessert and drinks, just
mm.
keeping it simple, and that I love that.
Amazing. And so if you're going to be entertaining or hosting this year, what would your top tips be to ensure that things go smoothly?
I think my top tips would be that, first of all, think about the scale. So don't feel that you have to do something absolutely huge. Better
Hmm.
to do two smaller gatherings than a
Mm,
gathering of so many people that you're completely overwhelmed and don't get to speak to anybody anyway.
yeah.
Definitely accept offers of help. If someone says, "Can I bring something?" Definitely take them up on that. Some people have a special recipe that they're
Mm,
just dying to bring. I
mm,
mean, I love it when someone asks me to make my orange gingerbread crinkles,
mm.
and I'm very happy to bring those along. So take up those offers of help. And also consider even doing something on a potluck basis and sort of saying, look, we're hosting, we'll bring the Prosecco and sort of
Mm,
give everyone else something to bring. So that would be top tip for that. And then as well, I think to really make sure you can enjoy it too.
mm,
Don't get all stressed about it. Nobody wants you to get stressed about
yeah.
it. They want you to have fun as well. They've come to see you and
Mm,
enjoy your hospitality. So just keep it so that you get a chance to really get into the spirit as well.
yeah. And I guess if you're a guest, is there any kind of etiquette that we should be following? Obviously, they say offer to take something with you, but other than that, how
I
can you be a
really
good
like the
guest?
I really like the idea of just bringing just a little something, not
Yeah.
something huge, but just a little something. Even if it's just a really pretty Christmas tea towel that you've
Mm,
tied with a ribbon, or perhaps a little tiny foodie gift, or if you are that way inclined and you make sort of little cookie mixes and things, maybe
mm,
bring that along with the recipe attached, and just a little thoughtful something. I
mm,
think is always a nice idea.
mm.
And I think, yeah, I offering to bring something, and also if someone says, "Oh no, I've got it in hand," don't be offended.
Yeah.
But I definitely like to come with something other than just a drink.
Mm,
I'd like to bring something, just a little something. Doesn't have to be
yeah.
expensive.
Oh, that's a nice idea actually. And I know that some people do find this time of year quite difficult, or have had maybe a tough year, maybe aren't really thinking about celebrating too much. Have you got any kind of advice or suggestions for them?
I think it can be a really difficult time of year. We've had
Yeah.
several bereavements around Christmas time over the years, and this year we lost my sister-in-law. So it's going to
Sorry.
be a very different Christmas. Thank you.
Mm,
I think everyone has, and also Christmas, whether you lose someone around that time or not, it brings into sharp relief the fact that they're not there.
mm,
So I think being mindful of that, certainly I've chosen several Christmas cards that say thinking of you as opposed to have an amazing Christmas because,
mm,
it's harder for people to do
yeah.
that. And I also think just being mindful of the fact that not everyone is in that spirit. If you are, not to dull yourself down if you're feeling really happy, but
Mm,
just to sort of be open to that. And if you are in the position where you have lost someone, to allow yourself that space and
mm,
realize that it's perfectly normal to feel emotional and feel that loss very keenly. I remember when my dad was very sick one year at Christmas time, and thankfully that time he did pull through. But I remember my friend met me when I was on the way to the hospital, and she just gave me some Christmas cookies in a
mm,
little package. My son was quite little at the time, and those were the cookies we left out for Father Christmas.
mm.
Just those little thoughtful things can really help.
Yeah. And I think as well, just trying to take the pressure off yourself. And I think what you said earlier about do what brings you joy. And I think, do you know what? If you don't want to celebrate this year and you want to spend Christmas Day in your pajamas eating beans on toast, that's absolutely fine. There are going to be other Christmases and other times that you can, enjoy yourself as well.
I completely agree, and I think as well, it's similar to questions I've heard. I know there was a couple that we knew that spent Christmas on their own one year,
Mm,
and everyone was saying to them, "Well, why? Why are you doing that? Why?" And they were, "We'd like to have a Christmas on our own together," and
mm,
it's perfectly fine. I mean, you need to do Christmas in a way that makes you happy. It shouldn't be a competition
yeah.
of, I mean, I suppose there's a tendency, people are, what did you do for Christmas? And
Mm,
and there's a moment of, oh, I must say something really important and big. It really doesn't matter.
mm,
The whole spirit of the season is that renewal and that hope. So I think just embracing where you are right now
mm.
and doing what gives you pleasure and comfort is absolutely fine. And if that is baked beans on toast in your pajamas, then absolutely.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you. Um, so we've kind of, had a good Christmas and we're all kind of all, stilted out. So what do you do in that kind of weird betwixtmas time? How do you like to spend that?
That is a very weird time. We tend to lean into spontaneity
Mm.
at Twixmas, which is very rare for me. I'm not a terribly spontaneous person, but it is nice to kind of leave space for fun things to happen, whether that's going for a winter walk all
Mm,
bundled up, whether that's having friends around just for like an impromptu leftovers buffet,
mm,
or just curling up and just, reading on the sofa or
mm.
doing a puzzle or just kind of resting in that
Yeah.
space because things always get busy in the new
Mm.
year. So it's really nice to use that as a space for renewal and refreshment
Yeah.
and not feeling like you have to frantically do online shopping and things like that.
And it's a nice time of year to sort of like review like the year that's gone and think about as well, maybe what, what I don't set goal resolutions, but it's quite nice to sort of think about maybe things that you might want to do the year ahead as well. If you've got some time to do that
Absolutely.
then.
I get super excited about doing that sort of thing.
Mm.
I love to think about a word of the year.
Hmm.
That's one of the things that I really like to do, and Twixmas is a really good time to do that.
Mm.
Um, Inspired by a writer called Gretchen Rubin, I do a list of each year. It's the number in the year. So there were 25 things in 2025. So I'm working on my 26 in 2026, and I will
Mm.
refine and finish those during Twixmas.
Yeah.
It's not like I must do these things, and it's not like resolutions. It's fun stuff. It's
Mm.
go visit that restaurant I've always meant to visit, or go do that thing that you were going
Mm.
to do. It's more of a way of expanding your horizons as
Mm.
opposed to putting yourself under some sort of resolution structure that doesn't
Yeah.
make anybody happy.
And have you managed to do your 25 for 25?
This year has been very weird. I think I've done about 10 of my 25. um, but I've enjoyed it, and you can
Yeah.
always like move the things to the
Yeah. Of
next year,
course.
or decide. You might decide halfway through the year that actually, do you know what? I don't know why I put that on the list,
Yeah.
and that's okay too.
Mm. Absolutely. I remember, I think it was during COVID year. I actually made my own advent calendar, and it was one of these ones that's got little boxes and you put them on the tree. So what I did in that is I think I had like eight chocolates. And then there were eight things to do and eight things to have. So it just made it a bit more interesting. So one of them was go for a walk. One of them actually was watch the Nutcracker. I did like I want to make something. So I think I made a scarf or something over the duration, not just that one day. But I kind of like that idea as well. So it's not all about having, it's more about like being and doing as well.
I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. I think we forget about the value of learning to do those things we've
Mm,
wanted to do, whether that's knitting or whether that is actually, I mean, I love doing puzzles.
mm,
And do I sit down and do puzzles very often? It's about allowing yourself that space to
mm,
do those things. I really like that advent
mm.
calendar idea.
Yeah.
I may borrow that.
Thank you. Um, so I love Christmas, but I'm not like a massive fan of New Year. So have you got sort of any tips for people like me? I mean, my third idea is probably go to bed about 8 o'clock at night time and everything never happens. But
Some of my favorite New Year's have been spent cozied up at home.
yeah,
Just we always tend to have I like to stay up. I like to see in the New Year, but there's
mm,
no requirement to do that.
yeah,
If you'd rather not, that's absolutely fine. I think doing something a little bit special can be fun, but you shouldn't feel like you have to go out. Everything is so expensive at New
mm,
Year, and particularly if you have kids. I mean, babysitting's just a nightmare. Um, Now that we're older and my son has grown up, we do tend to go out on New Year's Eve
mm,
with a couple of friends that we've sort of a tradition. But I have no objection to a cozy
yeah.
evening in. As a kid, we always used to have prawn cocktail at New Year's Eve,
Oh,
which
really?
sounds really funny, but it actually really works for me. So
Yeah.
that brings me special pleasure as well.
Oh, lovely. I'm going to Berlin this year for New Year, so
Ah,
I'm looking forward to that. So that I'm going to watch the New Year come in by the Brandenburg Gates. So that will be quite
oh,
amazing.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That would be so evocative.
Yeah, and they do this like a big firework display as well. I used to love fireworks, but they're not so good for the environment, so I'm not as much of a fan anymore. But I still like looking at the pretty lights, so that's gonna be pretty special actually.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about sort of Christmas decorations going up, and sadly, what goes up does have to come down. Do you have any sort of time that you take them down, or again, is it just sort of whenever you feel like it? Oh.
I remember when I first met my husband and I first came over from Canada, and we got to the 5th of January, and he
Mm.
was like, they have to be down, they have to be down. It's bad luck. And I was a bit perplexed by this because we did not have that tradition.
Yeah.
um, so I pushed back for a while, but then after our son was born, his birthday's very close to that time.
Yeah.
So he always wanted us to leave the Christmas decorations up until just after his birthday,
Mm.
which gave me exactly 24 hours to take them down to keep everybody relaxed. So I'm a bit more relaxed now if it doesn't
Yeah.
happen by then. I think I think you should do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And if that is to have them down early, that's great. I do know
Mm,
people who are just like after, I don't know, Boxing Day, they're like,
mm,
look, I've had enough. I'm putting them away. That's fine. I
mm,
mean, I think it can be after all the sort of having them up for a while, it can be refreshing to clear the decks, especially for New Year. But
mm.
I do tend to leave them up until at least the 5th or 6th of January, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I think I change it every year. I don't have a set date, and I think this year because I'm going away for New Year, I'll take them down before I go, so that when I come back, my house is all kind of done and tidy and ready for the start of the year. But it kind of works both ways. Sometimes it's nice to have them down. You can just kind of start the new year fresh, and sometimes you just want to like cling on to it for as long as you possibly can.
Exactly, especially the lights. I
Mm,
think when it's so dark, I know last year we left the lights, the outside lights, that we just have some sort of icicles and a few little fairy lights, and we just
mm,
kind of left those out for a while because it
mm.
was, especially with the really dark nights, it was nice to have that.
January can be so depressing. It's like everything's over and it's just miserable for months on end.
I think you have to hunker into the cozy on that, and
Yes.
it's tricky because it's everything around you, especially when the media is talking about how depressing it is as
Mm,
well. It's like it's how it's supposed to be, but I think that maybe I also like to plan something. I mean, we're really lucky that we tend to, because of our son's birthday being when it is, and his partner's birthday is very close to that,
mm,
we tend to go away with them. So we've got that little trip that's really,
mm.
really fun.
That's
Um,
nice.
but I think it's nice to plan something for later in January. Just it doesn't have to be expensive or big, but just
Mm,
something you're looking forward to. Even a get together with friends, I think
yeah.
that can be really nice.
Yeah. Actually, I was just going to say that. So it's kind of the weather's it's January, it's miserable and the pretty lights are down. So what would you do? And like you say, you said sort of just have some nice things to look forward to. Um,
Absolutely.
we haven't really touched on I guess things I thought about of like like a favorite Christmas memory. Do you have a favorite Christmas memory?
I think for me, my favorite Christmas memory it's really hard. I've been lucky to have some really lovely Christmases.
Mm,
One of my favorite Christmas memories, though, was definitely a bit bittersweet. It was the Christmas that my dad was ill, and we had thought that he was going to pass away, and we
mm,
were actually able to have Christmas dinner in the hospital canteen,
mm-hmm.
and that was probably one of the best Christmases of my life because
Oh,
even though he's now passed away,
mm,
it just that hope. It was so like the Christmas story, and it just
mm.
for me, well, the hope of it obviously was nothing like the Christmas
Yeah,
story
yeah.
itself, but that really restored my faith and made me just feel like anything was possible. And the joy of sitting there with someone who I thought I was going to lose,
Mm,
and we were all together.
mm.
There were five of us, like my husband, my son, and my mom and my dad, and it was brilliant. So that would
Oh,
be my
that's lovely.
favorite.
Oh, that's so lovely. I was fortunate probably 5 or 6 years ago to I volunteered with shelter for Christmas. I didn't really have any plans and it's doing something like that. I think I was having a bit of a tough time, but it still put everything into perspective. I was like, do you know what? No matter how bad my life is right now, I have a roof over my head, I have friends, and that kind of just helped me reframe that actually things aren't necessarily as bad as maybe we sometimes think they are.
Absolutely. I think it's wonderful you did that though.
Mm.
That's such a lovely thing to do.
And do you have a favorite Christmas song?
Oh, I like the old traditional ones,
Mm,
which is it. I'm really not into the super modern ones, so I really love "O Come All You Faithful." I'm
mm,
really I'm like a Christmas hymn kind of girl,
mm.
but I've no objection to like the kind of 1950s and 60s ones. I love a bit of Bing Crosby at
Mm,
Christmas as well. So yeah.
yeah, we have. I live just in the West Midlands. We have a carol concert at Birmingham Cathedral every year, and every year I go and I honestly I sing horribly loudly and out of tune, but it's like one of the favorite things I do every year as well.
I love that. We
Yeah.
tend to go to because Alex and Hannah, our son and his partner, they live up near Ely Cathedral, and we tend to go to midnight mass there. And
Mm.
I am the same. I don't sing very well. I'm very lucky because Hannah's a singing teacher, so I can hide under her voice, and my son sings very well as well. But I do love that sort of lovely, evocative old
Mm.
Christmas music as well. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And do you sort of have a wreath outside your front door at all?
I I do have a wreath every
Yes.
year. My friend Emma from Green Parlour makes the wreath. She's
Wow.
amazing. I think she's made my wreath for the last, I think, 17 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
And yeah, she always does something very creative and different, and
Mm,
it's always fresh flowers or fresh plants.
mm,
It's
mm.
organic, and yeah, I absolutely love it. So yes, I think this year we're going with blues and maybe a little bit of red. So.
Nice. I'm actually doing a wreath making course myself this year, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I come up with. It will be something green. I don't know what else
Oh,
to
it'd be
say.
lovely.
It will be lovely. Um, and as we're sort of coming to the end, and it's been so lovely, thank you. Is there anything else that you'd kind of like to share about Christmas?
I think the best thing I can say about Christmas is that it is supposed to be wonderful and restorative and joyful.
Mm.
It is supposed to bring comfort and joy. And I think that if we can keep that at the center of it and not get all worried about whether we're doing the right thing
Mm.
or whether we've got the right decorations, I think that is it's more about the feeling around it. I love Christmas itself as well as like the time around it as well as the day. So
Mm.
I think looking at it not just as one day,
Yeah.
but as a season, I
Mm.
think. And it has been absolutely lovely speaking to you too as
Oh,
well.
thank you. But I think I'd probably add to that as well. If you do feel stressful, then it is important to remind you that it is actually one day, and that we kind of have this like massive build up for something that sometimes it is a day, and sometimes it is good to put that into perspective as well. If you get all kind of stressed and worried about it, it's a lovely day of the year, but it is one day of the year as well. This whole season is around, one day.
I totally agree. And I
Mm,
think that comes into play even more when people are worried about being able to be with certain other people or when you've got when your children marry or are living with partners and
mm,
it's like, oh well, I get to spend time with them, or is it whose side is it?
mm,
And I think that if you can have Christmas any day.
mm.
If you're worried about, have a Christmas you can have a Christmas get together in November. You can do all the things.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't have to see particular people on that exact one day. It's
Yeah.
okay to do that anytime,
Mm.
really.
And I think as well as things like there's always Chinese New Year and different calendars, and the Russian, Ukrainian, and that kind of Christmas New Year is a bit later than ours. So you can always, extend your celebrating into the new year to kind of match. Oh, well, they're doing it this weekend, so I'm going to do it then as well. So you can kind of that's the thing about it not just being once as well.
Absolutely. We used to celebrate, my auntie used to do a New Year's Day dinner.
Mm,
And for her, she had five kids. And for her, the original reason was that whoever had not been there for Christmas could come for New Year.
mm,
But it became such a lovely tradition that like I always try and do if we're not traveling, I try and do a New Year's Day dinner as well, because it just even if it's just two of us, it's
yeah,
just a nice little celebration. But knowing that you can,
yeah,
adjust the celebrations so that they suit you and your family, and realize that that will evolve over time as
exactly.
whether you've got kids or not, it will evolve over time.
Amazing. And so, if people wanted to find you on the internet, where would they look?
Well, the first place to find me is on my website, which is apriljharris.com.
Hmm.
And you can find me on social media at April J. Harris on Pinterest. You can find me on Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. I will link to your website and all your details on my show notes. And actually, one thing I didn't mention, which is actually one of my favorite recipes, um, and I love turkey, but I live on my own, and I don't tend to do that anymore because I think I had one a few years ago. It was a little crown, and I calculated afterwards I had 32 meals out of it, and
It's a lot of turkey.
yeah, or servings or things. So I don't really do that anymore. I tend to do chicken now. But there are some amazing turkey cranberry and Stilton muffins, which I discovered years ago. So I will also put a link to that in my show notes because I think everyone should try those. So
It's it's lovely passing on Christmas
yeah,
traditions. I think it's so nice.
yeah.
It's such a good idea.
Well, thank you so much for your time today and for talking about Christmas. And I wish you a very happy Christmas and a very happy New Year as well.
Thank you so much, Claire. I've thoroughly
Thank
enjoyed
you.
speaking to you. Merry Christmas and a Happy New
Thank you.
Year.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Look after yourself, and I'll see you again soon. Stay curious and keep discovering.